Hello you beautiful people, this is Chris from TechSpert, and oh, my voice went all weird there. Hello you ravishing people, this is Chris from TechSpert, and I'm here with the Huawei Mate 20 Lite, and we're going to play a little game of Spot the Difference, because I've also got the Huawei P20 Lite and the Honor Play here. Can you actually tell which one is which? I bet you can't. That's not because you're stupid, it's because all of these phones basically look identical. Here is the Huawei Mate 20 Lite sat nicely in the middle. You got the P20 Lite here over on the left, and you got the Honor Play on the right. So what is actually the difference between these three handsets? Are there any differences? And which one might be best for you? Here's our in-depth Mate 20 Lite comparison. So first of all, in terms of size, the Mate 20 Lite and the Honor Play are almost identical. They're both basically 6.3-inch smartphones. So as you can see there, definitely a bit of a handful, although helped along by the fact that it's got quite slender bezels. They've both got this nice curvy finish, so they do actually feel quite nice in the hand. But definitely if you want to be using them one-handed, that's going to be a bit of a struggle. Thankfully you get a bit of one-handed mode action in both cases. All you need to do is swipe your finger across the navigation bar, and as you can see, the screen is minimized. And that actually works on all three of these phones because of course they're all running Huawei's EMUI, nice and straightforward. If you're not in the market for a massive smartphone for watching a lot of media on the go and stuff, the Huawei P20 Lite is more likely to suit you. It's a bit more compact, a bit more easy to handle, of course still does have that one-handed mode, and it is still a 5.84-inch display as well. It's not exactly a compact handset, so you're still pretty good for all of your media needs. If we flip them all around to the back, you'll see that the two Huawei handsets basically rock a very similar design. They're both glossy glass smartphones, so as you can see they've got a nice sheen to them. As you can see, they both smudge up a bit of a storm though, so you'll definitely not want to be eating a kebab while you're handling these handsets, otherwise you'll need to give them a serious buffing up again. In the case of the Honor Play, you actually get a matte aluminium finish. I mean, it's actually quite rare in 2018, so it doesn't scuff up when you're handling it, which is definitely a good thing. Which you would prefer obviously comes down to your own personal taste, whether you'd like a nice matte finish or the shiny glass finish of the Huawei smartphones, which is definitely very much on vogue at the moment. All three of these blowers do of course rock a fingerprint sensor around the back. This just allows you to quickly unlock the handset without using a PIN or a password, and in all three cases it's nice and nippy, so a quick tap now, as you can see, straight into it on the Honor Play. As you can hopefully make out there, all three of these smartphones also rock a headphone jack, as well as a bit of Type-C USB for charging back up again. Unfortunately though, none of them are water resistant, so definitely don't go checking your emails while doing the washing up at the same time or anything like that. Now in all three cases you get an IPS display. Of course, in all three cases you also get a bit of screen notch up top just to allow that display to stretch all the way to the top. Fortunately this doesn't tend to intrude on any of your actual apps or anything, it just allows a bit of extra information to be displayed either side, your battery info, Wi-Fi connection, stuff like that. In the case of the Mate 20 Lite and the Honor Play, you can just dive into the settings if you take offense to that notch, and there is a notch section in there which just allows you to mask it from view, so it's almost as if it doesn't even exist. However, weirdly, while that option is available on the Mate 20 Lite and the Honor Play, I don't have it here on the P20 Lite. I know some people do have that option available in their P20 Lite in certain regions, but for some reason here in the UK you just can't get it on this particular model. Thankfully, I don't really mind the notch, so I'm going to stick it back on in both of these cases and just get on with my day. As I mentioned before, 6.3 inches in the case of the Mate 20 Lite and the Honor Play. It's a slightly smaller 5.84 here on the P20 Lite, but in all three cases you get full HD visuals, so they are nice and crisp. You get some really nice sharp visuals, plenty of detail packed in there if you're enjoying photos, whatever you want to do. Considering these are on AMOLED panels, those colours really do shine. Nice vivid images as you can see here, though not like properly in your face, artificial or anything like that. They look really nice, just help to bring your pictures and your videos to life. So as you can see here, really nice punchy visuals when you're watching a bit of video as well. Again, perfectly crisp detail levels, solid viewing angles and everything as well. You can watch it with a couple of mates from an angle, no problem whatsoever. And again, those hues really shine. And in all three cases, the displays are fully customizable as well. Just head into the settings, go to the display section, and in there you can have a bit of a mess around with the color temperature, things like that. So as you can see, in the case of the Mate 20 Lite and the Honor Play, you can actually change it from vivid mode to normal. It's actually in vivid mode by default. In the case of the P20 Lite, you don't have that option, but the colours are quite sort of vibrant and vivid to begin with anyway. And of course, all these phones also boast an eye comfort mode as well, which just allows you to make the colours warmer at night, just for more comfortable, easy on the eye experience. Now, all three of these handsets are also rocking Android Oreo, and of course you get a bit of EMUI slapped on top of there, courtesy of Huawei. So as you can see here, it's the latest version, 8.2.0 in the case of the Mate 20 Lite, 8.2.0 over here on the Honor Play as well, and the slightly older 8.0.0 on the P20 Lite. You get a couple of bonus little features here on the Mate 20 Lite and the Honor Play. So for instance, if you head into the Smart Assistant section, you'll find this high touch feature. What that basically allows you to do is just tap a picture with 2 fingers, and that just does a quick Amazon search for whatever it is you're trying to look for. Unfortunately, it's a wee bit balls, as you'll see in our unboxing and also my 24-hour review, so it's probably not worth bothering with. Apart from that, you get a couple of other little bonus features such as active noise cancellation when you're in a phone call, which just helps to blur out some of the background noise. I haven't really noticed any proper full-on results of that, to be honest, compared with using the P20 Lite. P20 Lite, the call quality is still superb. However, EMUI 8.2 does have one good feature, which is basically if you lose signal, your call won't immediately just be terminated, you'll be put on hold instead, and then you'll be able to run back to where you had signal and resume your call. Apart from that, it's basically the same features on all 3 of these smartphones. They've all got plenty of gesture support, which you'll see if you dive into the Smart Assistant section. So that just allows you to, for instance, do that one-handed mode, which I showed you before. If you dive into motion control, you've also got the likes of, for instance, you can pick up to reduce the ringing volume or to answer a call. 3-fingered screenshot, which is quite handy as well. At any point, just drag 3 fingers down the screen, like so, and it'll save your screenshot. You can then edit it and share it and everything as well. And in the case of the Mate 20 Lite, as you can see, it also has knuckle gestures. So for instance, at any point, if you're in an app that supports it, you can drag your knuckle across the screen. I'll just split it at that point, and then you can open up something else in the bottom half. Not exactly revolutionary, and you can still do split screen on these other handsets as well with apps that support it. So for instance, here you go. All you need to do is go into the recent apps tray instead, and any supported apps will have this little double rectangle effort, as you can see there. You also get a bit of voice control in all 3 cases as well, which is pretty good if you're driving, to be perfectly honest. One of our favourite new features added by EMUI is the face unlock. In all 3 cases, this definitely does the job. All you need to do is just power off your phone, and then when you're ready for action, just power it up, aim the front camera at your face, and as you can see, the lock screen is bypassed and you're straight into your handset. And I found that this works perfectly well on all 3 of these smartphones. There's a slight delay, it's not quite as quick as some of the more premium handsets such as the OnePlus 6, but that's to be expected. And the only time it really struggles is in particularly low light conditions. Apart from that, it does the job nicely. It's a good alternative to that rear-mounted fingerprint sensor. So what's actually running the show here? Well, it's actually a different chipset packed into all 3 smartphones. So over here on the left on the P20 Lite, it's the most basic chipset. Go on the Kirin 659 backed by 4 gigs of RAM. On the Honor Play you get the Kirin 970, which is Huawei's last gen flagship chipset. So as you can see, the performance is pretty much double what you get on the P20 Lite. And in the case of that Honor Play, you can have it backed by the 4 or 6 gigs of RAM. This is the 4 gig model. The piggy in the middle is the Mate 20 Lite. It's not rocking a top-end chipset, but it's got the Kirin 710 in it, which is definitely a step up from the 659. Unfortunately, this bad boy is completely not allowing me to install any benchmarking software. It absolutely flat out refuses, which is kind of annoying. So far, everyday performance seems absolutely fine. I've seen a couple little stammers here and there, mostly when multitasking or something like that. But the likes of PUBG Mobile will run on all 3 of these smartphones. The P20 Lite, you'll have to really knock down the detail to the minimum settings if you want a decent frame rate. In the case of the Mate 20 Lite, I've had it running on medium detail settings with a decent frame rate. And in the case of the Honor Play, it's actually geared towards gaming, so you'll be able to play the likes of PUBG Mobile on top detail settings with a nice, consistently smooth frame rate. And in the case of the Honor Play, you get a nice bit of GPU turbo support as well, which basically allows you to get a nice consistent frame rate when you're gaming. Just basically bungs all the resources at it to make sure it doesn't crap out. So if gaming is your bag, you'll definitely want to look at the Honor Play. Otherwise, if you just want more typical everyday performance, then either of these 2 will also suffice. When it comes to the battery tech, I find that these 2 on the right are also the better. The Mate 20 Lite and the Honor Play both spot a 3750 mAh battery. That'll easily keep you going all day, even with pretty heavy use. As you see, I've been using this since last night. It's still got 30% charge, and that's with basic all-day use. I've been shooting a lot of video with this thing, using the camera to shoot full HD footage, all that kind of stuff, and it's still going strong. Same sort of results from the Honor Play. In the case of the Huawei P20 Lite, it also performs pretty well, even though it's got a smaller 3000 mAh cell. Of course, it's also got a smaller display to power, so that definitely helps. But fine, again, we'll get through a full day of use with this, no problem. As you can see, all three of these smartphones also rock a bit of power saving mode, ultra power saving mode, and you can also get them quick charged as well, although there's obviously no support for wireless charging because they're all sort of fairly basic to mid-range handsets. As you'll see, if we flip them around to the back, all three of these blowers unsurprisingly support a dual lens camera setup. Pretty much standard for 2018, and in all three cases you get nice depth of field when shooting your photos. So I'll just quickly run through the specs. In the case of the Huawei P20 Lite, you get a 16 megapixel primary camera. It's an f2.2 backed by a simple 2 megapixel depth sensor with f2.4 aperture. The Mate 20 Lite has a similar sort of setup. It's actually a 20 megapixel primary lens and it's an f1.8, so slightly higher aperture for those low light shots. But once again, you get a simple 2 megapixel depth sensor as that secondary lens. And in the case of the Honor Play, it's basically the same setup as the P20 Lite. Again, a 16 megapixel primary lens, f2.2, with a 2 megapixel depth sensor. In the case of the Mate 20 Lite and the Honor Play, you just flip between the different modes down here with your finger. In the case of the P20 Lite, it's a flip that way, and as you can see, that brings up all of your bonus modes right there. All three, unsurprisingly, support a portrait mode, which just uses those two lenses to highlight your subject and give you a nice background bokeh effect. I find the results are generally pretty good. The silhouette of your subject is neatly caught and the background is blurred effectively to really help them stand out there. You also get the likes of the moving pictures mode as well. That just allows you to shoot a quick snippet of video every time you take a photo. It just really helps to bring your gallery to life when you're flipping through it, and as you see, all three phones support that. And yes, of course, you do get a bit of AR lens action as well, which the kiddywinks can't get enough of. As you can see, this just allows you to basically turn yourself into weird creatures, get weird carrots kissing you on the cheek, do all kinds of random stuff. It's a bit hallucinogenic, and frankly, it should all be killed with fire. In the case of the Mate 20 Lite, it's actually slightly more advanced. It's got this 3D Kumoji, which allows you to actually turn yourself into some kind of creature, like a pissed off looking husky, a really obscenely cute cat, a robot thing, or a cherry for whatever reason. I'm not really sure. So if you want to look like an absolutely deranged robot, then the Huawei Mate 20 Lite is definitely for you. All three of these phones also offer a form of pro mode, a manual control mode, where basically you can get hands-on with the likes of the ISO levels, the white balance, have a bit of a play around with them and get exactly the kind of photo that you want. In all three cases, it's basically the same setup. And you also get in all these phones a bit of slow motion mode, bit of time lapse, all the other shenanigans that you would expect. In the case of the Mate 20 Lite, you can shoot slow motion up to 480 frames per second if that's your bag. When it comes to video chops, they are in ascending order of adequacy as well, because the P20 Lite is very simple. You can just shoot full HD 1080p footage. The Mate 20 Lite, you can shoot full HD at either 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. And then finally, the Honor Play does allow you to boost it all the way up to 4K level on demand. However, I've also found that while the image stabilization is fine at full HD level, once you start to boost up to the 60 frames per second or the 4K, it gets very janky, so you'll definitely want to stand as still as possible. When it comes to the selfie cameras, the P20 Lite and the Honor Play actually sport a single lens 16 megapixel f2.0 aperture lens, so again there's no difference whatsoever. However, the Mate 20 Lite actually ups its game. You've got a 24 megapixel primary lens, and that's backed by a 2 megapixel depth sensor. So that just allows you again to get a good sort of depth of field when shooting portrait shots. However, all three phones can take portrait shots with the selfie camera. I'll just demonstrate that now. And if we dive on in, we find that we actually generally get really good results with the Honor Play, despite the fact it's only got that single lens. So as you can see there, get a nice blurred effect in the background while I remain nice and crisp, just as I do on the Mate 20 Lite. And even though, again, the Mate 20 Lite has that AI mode, which basically just does your general scene detection and everything, find that, again, there's not a massive amount of difference between them. They're all perfectly good for your selfies. Although the HDR Pro mode does seem to help out a little bit when you're shooting a really bright outdoors scene, and they've all got a form of screen flash as well if you're shooting a selfie in a really dark nightclub or something. And that in a nutshell is the Huawei Mate 20 Lite versus the P20 Lite and the Honor Play. As you can see, the Mate 20 Lite and the Honor Play are actually very, very similar. They're more or less the same size, both sort of decent performance. The Honor Play actually is better in that department. Both have large batteries, large Full HD Plus screens, and basically the same feature set. In the case of the P20 Lite, it is a bit more compact, a bit more easy to fondle. It doesn't have quite the same set of features as the others, bit of a smaller, more compact screen, but still nice and sharp and colourful, as you can see there. The performance is a bit more limited, however, and the battery life's more or less the same because it's got that smaller screen to power. As for the camera tech, you get more smarts on the Mate 20 Lite, but it doesn't seem to make a massive difference so far. Definitely stay tuned for my full Mate 20 Lite camera review over on Recombi. We've done full camera reviews of the Honor Play and the P20 Lite, so go check those out if you want to know more. So thanks for watching everyone, and don't forget to subscribe for more on the latest and greatest mobile tech, including the Mate 20 Lite. Cheers, love you!